Hello and welcome to the JCN Clinic podcast show. My name's Jessica.
And my name's Dameon, or Hubbard.
Most people are going to know you as Hubbard.
Yeah.
So today I have finally pinned Hubbard, Dameon Hubbard, my husband, down to talk about the Kosciuszko 100. That was end of November last year. And, well, yeah.
Yep.
How many? It's probably been December. Yeah, it's been like 2 months, which is kind of crazy. And for listeners that listen a lot, I have talked all last year about the lead up to the 100. And then I definitely promised to talk about how it all went. And then if you listen to or watch socials, you'll see that things didn't go to plan. So I keep saying I'm going to record this because I didn't want to just go radio silent on it and pretend nothing happened. So this is going to be a bit of a different episode today. So if you're interested and you've been following along, I hope you enjoy it. But if you're usually here for the nutrition content, there'll be a little of that sprinkled in, but this is a bit of a behind the scenes of Jess and her DNF.
And her crew.
And her crew. I wanted Dameon to be involved because he's such an integral part to this, and then he's got a different perspective as well. So where to start? Well, just chatting before we hit start, like I was saying, a lot of you who listen a lot know the lead up to this, but Dameon was saying, well, what about people who haven't listened before? So yeah, I guess, do you want to talk a little bit about when this started, as you were saying before?
Yeah, well, I guess people know that you've done the Kosciuszko 50 the year beforehand, which was 2024?
Yeah.
And did really well in that, considering it was your first major trail run and you'd only been into trail running not even 2 years before that, I think.
It wasn't my first, but it was my first ultra as such.
Ultra. Yeah, your first big one. And it was even more than the 50Ks and they said it was going to be.
It's always the case.
Always more. And running up and down the ski fields. And then when we were at the, what was it? Was it at the 50K that we were there? And we
yeah, at Rego.
At the registration. That you could look on the big wall and you could see everybody's name that was running that year out of, I think there's probably like 3,000 or 4,000 people. And you could also take a photo in front of the wall pointing at where your name was. And me being ever the hilarious one, I decided you could get little props and hold them up for your photos. And I grabbed the 100-kilometer one and gave it to Jess to hold up for the Kosciuszko 100 the next year, which I got a rather awkward look. Which you can't say expletives on here, can you?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, Carissa does all the time.
It was kind of an F-off look. But that kind of was like, I wonder if that planted a little seed anyway. And then you roll forward to the next year, you've done your 50, and I don't think that you had spoken about what you were going to do the next year, whether you were going to do the 50 again.
I wanted to do, there was a big part of me that just wanted to do the 50 again. From a confidence point of view, I wanted to go back and get really good at the 50, feel confident with the 50, but I couldn't fathom the idea of the 100, but then I was like, well, I couldn't fathom the idea of the 50 the year before. Yeah. And I was really nervous about the jump from the 50 to the 100, but then I was like, I've got a whole year to train, and if I do this properly. And I remember I sat down with you about it, and I was like, look, if I'm going to do the 100, this is going to be a big commitment. Yeah. And I need you to be okay with how much time this is going to take. And I'm definitely going to need to make sure I see a physio and get regular massage and do all of the things. And you also, like, once I started talking about it, you started spreadsheeting and like the whole thing in a big spreadsheet. And then I was like, shit, he's like spreadsheeted this whole thing. And then I was still like, I don't know if I'm going to do this, but we went and had dinner with Nick and Claire, and I was just thinking, well, I'm on the cusp. You've worked this all out. It's like going in this way, like, it's just fear that's stopping me. Like, again, if I felt the fear before and that's all it is, that's fine. I just need to look it in the face and do this.
And then I opened the laptop
Well,
I think.
no, we went and had dinner with those guys. And then I was
right.
thinking, well, Nick's really practical.
Yeah.
And like, if he thinks this is a stupid idea, he'll tell me. And then we brought it up and he was like, yeah, of course, just do it. You want to do it. It's all you've ever talked about is doing these distances. And I'm like, oh, well, if he thinks that I should, if Nick listens to this, he'll be like, are you blaming me?
Exactly.
Or DNF. No. It was just like a combo of like you guys all believing in me because I had that fear.
Yeah.
So that was when I was like, I'm just going to book it. I'm going to do it.
Yeah. So I opened the laptop and had a look in there and was looking at what was available. And you were still hesitant. You were still kind of on the back foot about it. And you're like, what if the 50's there? Maybe I could still do the 50. And then I looked in there, but the 50 wasn't there.
True.
50 was sold out. So 100 it was. Bam.
Yeah. Oh, and that's right. And I put myself on the wait list for the 50.
Yeah. And then that's where you could move forward to later because that wait list didn't position actually.
I did actually come up during training,
but
I was already committed then.
Yeah.
So I essentially, I took the short of it. I took on a coach, which was great because I felt like I needed that direction. But I didn't start seeing a physio or massage or anything, which I think was part of the reason things eventually, well, you never know, but I think there's a couple of factors which we'll talk about as to why things might have happened the way that they did. So I guess sort of fast forwarding, I felt like I had a really great training block up until mid-year. Was doing shorter races and building up and working on speed. I was feeling really positive about that. And then in July, we went to Bali and took about 2-3 weeks off. And just before we were going, I was starting to get a bit of tight ITB stuff. And then we went to Bali and we're sitting on the planes over there and back. And then I wasn't training as much over there. And then when I was running on sand and everything just felt like it was getting quite tight. And then we came back and I had that amazing run because we were like post Bali and running in the heat and then coming back here.
Is there a moment like did we miss out on my massive injury that I had in Indonesia? Like did we completely bypass talking about that? Do you remember that injury?
Your back injury?
It was pretty serious. I think we should talk about that one as well. It shouldn't be all about you hogging the microphone.
Spasm.
A spasm? It was my first sunrise I've ever watched. Next minute I'm in traction and I nearly drowned in the water in my scuba gear looking at statues. Yeah, tune into part 2 podcast where you hear the real bad stories. Man pain.
Oh my God. Anyway, I had a great run when I came back. But then, the ITB stuff just came out of nowhere and it was really, really quite debilitating. And that's when I first went and saw the physio, which I think was the first mistake that I left it so late. So worked with her. All my training changed over those months and it was a lot of flat running. So I think, there was all of that I worked through and then we came out the other side of that and went into the build and the build was like getting back into the hills and everything. So there was a bit of that rocky start. But then I was feeling pretty good. Went into the big build and then essentially in that lead up to the build in like the last, I would say, month in October, there was just a lot on, like personally behind the scenes. Like there was a lot going on with the business and there was a lot of travel that I had on the cards with work. And I'll talk a bit about that, I think, a little bit later as to maybe how that contributed. But essentially a week, maybe 10 days before we were due to leave to go to Kosci, I just started getting this pain in my glute and I did mention it to my physio, but she just thought it was compensation pain. And it's not, again, no one's fault. Like it's made sense from, because it was on the other side to the ITB. So she thought it was compensation pain. I took Dameon in with me. She showed him how to strap everything and so forth. And between her and my coach, it was just like, let's just rest it. All the fitness is there. It's not going to hurt you to rest up.
Now, how many kilometers were you doing in a weekend just like before that, like leading up to this?
Well, that was in the peak. So
Yeah, so when
I
you
don't
were
even know
peak.
in kilometers. It was, I think, about in hours. I remember I did that. It was like a double. It was like a
Saturday, Sunday.
It was like a 3 hour on the Saturday and a 5 hour on the Sunday or something.
Yeah,
But there was like, those were the big weekends right at the
they
end.
were massive.
Yeah. So I had like a week where they were like just back completely off and just, go up. We decided to still go. Like I was in a fair amount of pain and was struggling at that point, kind of walking around the house.
Am I going to keep stopping you and going back a little step?
Yeah, that's what you're here for.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because did you mention we haven't mentioned the Dameon run?
True.
I think that's something that needs to be. So you've mentally blocked these out. I can understand why. But I remember being at work. I was at work. It was a Saturday or a Sunday then, right? Yeah, well, it had to have been a Saturday or a Sunday. I was at work, new job, and I looked outside, and I told you, Forever Rain Man, that there was a big band of rain coming in, some really, really nasty weather. Big dump was coming. And then I got the notification on my phone that pinged and said you'd gone for your run and you were doing the double donner ultimately, right?
Mm-hmm.
People on here know what the double donner is.
Some people will, not many.
Vicious. It's horrible. It's terrible. It's another one of my crippling pain stories. And yeah, wait for part 2. What is it? How many kilometers up? Again, it's not really
it's like I think it's 11. I think it's 21 up and down.
Ooh.
Yeah, but it's very very, very steep for the first 4Ks.
It's a mountain.
Yeah,
and it is straight up and straight down. So anyway, I look outside and I'm looking at the weather window that Jess is in, and then it looked fairly tame, and out of nowhere the temperature dropped like 15 degrees. The rain came in, not vertical but horizontal, and I just remember looking out the balcony and thinking, oh no.
Yeah.
That's all I thought.
Just, oh no.
That's all I thought was, oh no.
Well, it's not like I hadn't been running in the rain a lot before, but this was like next level. And I was up there when it really hit, and it was because you're so high, it turned into hail. And I was really cold. Like I just didn't have the right gear on either. I didn't expect to get cold. I don't usually get cold when I run. It was
like 15 or 10 degrees at a point, and then I felt it drop at least 10 degrees, and up on Mount Dameon it is always 8 degrees colder.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I was like, I was so cold, like everything was going numb, and I was seriously considering calling Dameon to say, I think you need to come and get me. But I think while he's bringing that up is that this kind of speaks to like, I think some of the whys is that doing that run, there's the strong up, but then the descent is really extreme. And I think because I'd done so much flat, and then I went into the build and was doing the hills again, and then this was it's always an extreme downhill, but because it was so wet, and like it's always muddy up there, but this was like insane. It was like skiing on the way down. Like you just couldn't get a footing. And I just think that impact, like that whole way down of like trying to run but not being able to run properly, and it was just a bit of a kind of nightmare. I didn't ironically feel it though. Like that was
because like old Blue Lips was out. So Jess's nickname when she gets cold is Old Blue Lips. Her lips actually go almost pale, almost fluorescent blue purple colour. And she failed to tell you that when she was running down on a small road section, didn't a car pull
a couple of them,
horizontal rain.
They were pulling over and offering me lifts. So like, are you all right?
Wasn't it hailing in a
Yeah, that's what I said before. It was hailing. Yeah. They were like, what the hell? Like I was so cold. I would have been fine. I was just aware of like how that I was thinking of it as a niggle at that point. And I could feel it on the bitumen because I'd gone on the bitumen for a little bit. But as soon as I got on that big descent, I didn't really feel it. But I think that in hindsight, was not the best move to have chosen that run that day. But who knows? Like I could have gone and done another long run, and we just don't know. So to go back to doing that assessment, like at that point I think we're about 4 or 5 days from leaving, and it was starting to get a bit ambiguous, but I was trying to be positive. Everyone was being positive about it, and we're like, look, we're booked, we've paid, let's go up. Worst case scenario, if something happens, like we can still be up there and see the races, see the elites, like, which is always something that we love to do, and get there with the old cowbells and Dameon with his bloody air horn and, have a good time of it. So, and also the plan was to not really run until the day before when I was doing a shakeout and assess that. So we went up, and we did the bib collection and all those sorts of things. And I was feeling really unsure. Like by this point, it's 2 days prior, and like I'm carb loading, but I don't know if I'm carb loading for no reason. I don't know how this is going to go. Like it was really weird feeling, and it was really hard for Dameon, and I think mum and dad came up too, like for them, instead of it being like, this is what's happening, it was really ambiguous. And because it was like I was all over the place, and the plans that we were supposed to make at the, put everything together, like we didn't really do them. So we kind of got to the day before. I go out, I do this shakeout run, which I put off all day. I know Nick was texting and he was like, have you done the run? How are you going? I'm like, oh, I haven't done it yet. And I went out, and it was bad, and it just hurts so much. And I'm like, if it hurts this much now, like, how am I going to go? How am I going to do this?
It needs to be noted, at that point, your mum, your dad, and myself were in our units with the sliding doors with our noses pressed hard up against them, watching you run out the driveway and down the gravel road, and we're just hard pressed watching. And anytime you look back, we're like, whoo, pulled our heads back so we couldn't be seen, and then looked back again to see how you were going, because we were nervous as shit.
Yeah. Well, I know when I came back, I saw mum and dad go into their unit. It was just like, let's give her space. You could probably tell by the way I was like taking a while to come back. But it was bad. It was really bad. And obviously this will kind of come in as I start talking about the race, but my pain tolerance is pretty damn high, and I was definitely worried about where it was at. And I came in, I was pretty upset. I spoke to you, and you were very like, don't do it. There's no need to do it. Like, you're in pain. And I just couldn't reconcile it. Like, I just was like, I just thought there could be this chance that maybe I could run through it, which might sound crazy to people listening, but sometimes you have these niggles, and like you get 5-10 Ks in and it just goes away. And I didn't know what it was at this point.
Well, for me, that was really tough to deal with.
Yeah.
Because I'm on or I'm off.
Exactly.
I'm that zeros or ones. I'm that kind of little bit of aspy, whereas like we're either doing this or we're not. There's sort of no grey in between. And that was really, really tricky for me, because I'm looking at the person who I love and adore, and I don't want her to go in and do this and then hurt herself. Yeah. And so for me, it was off, and I thought it was off. I was 100% sure we were done, and I was looking at all of my 3 months of spreadsheeting and all of the packing up and of getting all the supplements sorted and all the gels and everything into little bags. All of the little OCDing was out the back tube, but I didn't care, because I was just I just wanted you to be okay. But in the background. Yeah, I couldn't let it go, and I text my coach to tell her what had happened and how I felt. And she said to me, look, if there's no reason realistically to not start and give it a go if that's what you feel you need to do. But if you do it, then there's 2 things that you need to stop for. And one of them is if you feel like something bad's happening, which I know sounds a bit vague, but something sort of acute and bad is happening with the injury, or if you start getting really severe compensation pain and start causing problems elsewhere. But she said, I've seen miracles happen. Like, it does happen. Like, just see how you go and just
call me at any point. And I told Dameon that, and he was just like, what the fuck? Like,
I was a bit shitty.
You were.
I was
yeah,
shitty.
I know.
I was giving you the silent treatment.
Yes.
Like, not bad, but bad enough that I was ashamed afterwards of my actions for that. But I was giving you the silent treatment because I was just like, this is not good.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't see any positives coming out of it.
Yeah. I get that too, because then it was very much like, okay, you're going to do this. Hang on, like, we haven't organised the gels, we haven't done all this stuff, and then we're organising this stuff and we're talking about the whole day. But even though there's a chance I'm going to start and there's a high chance I won't even finish, like, it just felt really muddy. And Dameon's so like black or white, so this whole thing's just like a complete grey zone, and I could see it wigging you out. And I was like, I did feel really bad. I was like, I am putting him and mum and dad through the ringer right now, but I have to do this. Like, I just have to do it.
And we didn't have, it was kind of like, there would have been a build up to it. So it would have been like, on this day beforehand, we're going to do this, and then we're going to get your gels, and then we're going to get this sorted, and then we're going to do this. And that build up, and our carb loading, you say your carb loading, our carb loading, as you build up to it. And then it was kind of like, no, probably not. Fuck it, I'm doing it. Yeah. It's like, oh boy. Yeah. So then we're scrambling, trying to get things together, which I think, as we'll say later on, is where we made, as crew, we made a couple of little errors later down the track just because we didn't get all that ducks in a row. It was kind of like, okay, now we're doing it.
True. So yeah, we went to bed that night and got up early. I actually slept better than I expected. And then in the morning, got up as usual, like carved up, had all of the things, did all the rituals, the drive to the start line.
Cottonmouth.
Not
saying
oh my
anything.
God, just like
just goes into a
total like tunnel. But it was weird though, because it felt that, but it also was like, I don't know if this is going to happen. It was just yuck. It was usually, and it was weird too, because it was like the ghosts of the year before were there. Like, we stayed in exactly the same cabin, and mum and dad were in the same cabin next door, and it was odd to be in the same place doing the same thing, but just to feel so different. So like the drive there was just icky because mum and dad were driving too, and last time you had like Eminem pumping. Remember?
We had Eminem pumping this time.
Oh, you put it on your
this time as well, but it wasn't the same.
Yeah,
totally wasn't the same.
So we got to the start line, and I had to run off and find the toilet as usual. As always, you got to wee before you start. You just have to. It was massive lines.
Somebody out there in the trail running circles, make a little wee bag that you can connect and have on the line, and just throw it on the ground to the ski field as you run away. Because there's
never enough toilets.
There's 2,500 people in this race.
It's so ridiculous. Anyway, I know I had to come and find you guys and like get into my chute to start. But I know you said to me afterwards that was when, I don't know if it was when I started or at that point you kind of finally were like, I get it. Like, you're kind of being in that environment.
We all understood.
Yeah.
Well, your parents understood straight away. They were talking to me and they're like, she's going to do it. And I'm like, no, I don't think she is. And they just had absolute confidence in you that you were going to do it because, a freight train won't stop you. That's the truth of it. There's a mountain there. You're going to run the mountain, but the mountain couldn't stop you from starting if you were going to start.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
So they had total faith you were going to be on that start line and you were going to run, even if you fell over and died. They did. They did.
They know me too well. Oh, my God. So even standing on the start line, like waiting for the gun, like all the nerves are there and the first, wave goes. And it's the same thing, like everyone around me is all like jacked up with adrenaline, and all I could think of was like, I'm on the start line and I'm already in pain. And I was trying to not think about it, but like the minute the gun went and I started running, it was like there, it wasn't like, oh, it's not there. So the first section was, I think, around 16 kilometers to the first aid station. And it just wiggled around, like there was ups and downs, but it was like kind of on the Perisher, around Perisher down to Charlotte's Pass. And it was hard going. Like, you know, I was not able to run as fast as I wanted to, and I was trying to ignore it. And, you know, because I wasn't running as fast as I wanted to, I was getting overtaken, and then that was really frustrating. But I kept just trying to like just let it go.
The wind
was astronomical, and because I didn't have the strength, not the strength, but like the ability to like ground into my feet when we're on the what do you call it? They call it the cheese grater. So the mesh, it would hit people, it hit you on that, and all you wanted to do was push into your legs and be sturdy, but I couldn't push through my right leg. So I just kept getting blown off the track, and I was just getting really angry and frustrated, and I'm thinking, I'm not even enjoying this. Like, this isn't fun. Like, I should be having the time of my life. So I was just like really going through it mentally, and it was definitely hurting a lot.
We saw
and
you
slowly going. And then I saw you at that first aid station.
Just before that, we were watching you on the tracker.
Yeah.
And we saw you go through. So you start off at Perisher and you do a little loop. You kind of run a little bit up Perisher, do a kind of little loop and come back past where you've started. And just after, when you come past that point, there's a timer point there. And we looked at where you were on my spreadsheet, all the timing, and you were 30 seconds, or can't be 30 seconds, can't be 3 minutes ahead of our predicted time. And we were really, really surprised by that. And we actually just missed you because we were stuck in traffic.
That blows my mind, hey.
You were ahead of
I was
time
so slow
at that point, and you were saying you were 7 to 8 out of 10 in pain.
Yeah, obviously that's exciting for going back, but
and we were watching you again on the tracker, and the tracker was showing that you were in the lead. You were in the lead 5 people, or maybe 5 or 8 people for your age group.
Yeah.
And then you came in. Yeah.
Yeah, that blows my mind, hey. So yeah, I came in, and I already was thinking when I saw you guys, I was like, I don't know if I can keep going. Like, it was already so, yeah, the pain was so significant at that point. And I actually said to you, I think I came in and I said, I think I'm done. I sat down and I think I burst into tears. And then, I don't know, because I know you tried to take the pack off me.
We did.
Do you think you did take the pack off me?
We didn't take it off. First of all, we started just changing gels with you sitting down, changing your water, changing your gels. It's very much like, for those that don't know, it's very much like Formula One car racing. It's like you come in, you get as quickly as you can, because every minute counts when you look at the time at the end of the race. So the better your crew is, the faster you're getting gear in, gear off, gear out, getting some more liquid into you. But remembering at this point, there was horizontal wind was blowing so hard that rubbish bins were, we saw teenagers getting blown over, and it was kicking up sand in people's faces. It was horrible. But yeah, you sat down, we changed you out some gear, and then you went to stand up.
Yeah, and I could, like, that pain shot in really bad, and then I think
buckled.
Yep. And then I think I sat back down again. But there was a point, I feel like, you were going to take things off me, but then I know I stood up again, and then I was like testing it, and I'm like,
we did.
Maybe.
We took your vest off.
I was just like, I think you did. And then I'm like, hang on, maybe I'm okay. Maybe.
And you stood up.
And I stood up, and I was like, I said to you, how long to the next aid station? And it was a big one. It was to Kosciuszko to the top and back. So it was about 23 or 20. Yeah.
23 kilometers. Yeah.
So Dameon said to me, he's like, if you do this one, it's a big loop. It's to the top and back. Once you're, there's going to be a point, like, if you can't keep going, you're going to have to walk back out, or how they're going to get you out of there. Yeah. But you were good. Like, you were just telling me the facts. You weren't like trying to tell me what to do. Like, I felt supported either way. Yeah. And I said to you guys, well, maybe I just want to try and see. And you said to me, well, why don't you go
we had 1 kilometer.
Up that 1 kilometer? It was still on the beach, like on the actual road, and it was a climb up before you hit the track. And you said to me, go up to that point, and then if you can't make it, then call. And And I was like, okay. And then like, no, just call if you can't make it. So that's what we did. I took off on the bitumen. And then took off makes it sound like I went really fast.
Yeah, and then not even long after that, I realised you'd left like one of your headphones.
Oh, I didn't have my headphones.
Didn't have your headphones,
no.
And I thought you might want your headphones for the 23. So I ran with no gear on me. I ran after you, and it would have been 1 minute, and you were gone, and you were running up a hill in 7 out of 10 pain. I got a quarter of the way up that hill, and I was in 7 out of 10 pain. Because I'm so unfit. I was exhausted. I thought, screw your damn headphones, and I'm walking back.
You called me.
Oh, that's like,
do you want your headphones? And you're like, do you need your headphones? I'm like, no, I'm all good.
And I'm like, what the
hell? Yeah, so I got to the top, and ironically, I mean, it makes sense, like, but because it was uphill, like the impact's not as bad, so when I got to that spot up the top, I was like, no, I think I'm okay. So I was like, I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep going. And Dameon was expecting me to call.
Yep. So then I'm walking, we're grabbing the gear and walking through howling wind. And we walked up half. So all you had to do was get that next kilometre, and then you were making the call to yourself whether you were going to carry on. Halfway up there was a fork in the road where we either went to pick you up or we went back down to where the vehicle was, and there was a tiny little bit of shelter with about 20 people sitting in behind the sign. And we got up there, and I look at your parents, and they start walking down the road. And I'm like, what are you doing? We've got to wait for Jess. And they're like, have you not learned? Like, she's not coming back. We told you this at the start line. I'm like, no, we should wait here. She may call. And they looked at me and went, all right then. So we waited, and we waited, and we waited. And I admitted that once again, your parents were right. There was no way you were ever stopping. And we walked down to the car.
Oh, that's so funny. So yeah, I did the way up to Kosci. It is on a road, like a dirt road. And it just winds. It's all obviously up, and it winds slowly, but it's just like a continual up. So it's a real grind. A lot of people are walking and running sort of on and off, but there's a lot of walking, except obviously the elites are like hooning it. And again, it was definitely progressively getting worse. But on the uphill, yeah, I realized in hindsight that it was definitely that was what was enabling me to stick at that sort of 7-8 sort of space out of 10. So by the time I got to the top, like, I was so excited just to get to the top and just to touch the monument at the top and then to come down. Like, I definitely got emotional when I got up there. Everyone's taking photos with it and stuff. I just ran in and touched it. But I was like, oh my God, I've made it. And I was like tearing up as I was going down. But in my head, I was like, I don't know how this is going to go, but all I know is that I love downhill. Like, that's the biggest part for me. And all I want to do, this is such perfect terrain. It's a road, for Christ's sakes. Like, I just want to send it. And I heard some other people talking to each other going, oh, are you going to like send it down here or not? And they're like, oh yeah, but I don't want to blow myself up. And I'm thinking, well, the chances of me finishing this are so rare. Again, if a miracle happens. So I'm like, I'm just going to send it. So I just ran and really pushed it. But as soon as I started, I was like, uh-oh. It was just, if you think about running downhill, that impact. And I just ran as fast as I could for as long as I could until basically I just couldn't. And then I'd stopped. And I'd walk a little bit, and then I'd like try and pick it up again and run a bit. But that was like, it basically took it to the done 10 out of 10 pain. Like, by the time I was about 2 to 3 Ks out, I was trying to call Dameon, but there was no reception. And I was basically just trying to call him, just be like, where are you? Like, I just needed to hear your voice, I think, to be honest.
Yeah. And
yeah, it was like a walk, hobble in. I kept trying to run, but you
can't breathe when you're in that much pain.
Yeah,
right?
I was saying, I think I said to you, I was doing all these things where I was imagining the pain and putting it in a box, like actually packing it away and putting it in a box at the back of my head, like just visualizing the pain away. And it did work for a while. Like it was there, but it was like not concentrating on it. But it got so insane. It was like my body took over. Like I just physically, like my right leg just wasn't working anymore. So I came into that aid station and it was packed. There was people everywhere. And I think that's when I could call you because I got a bit of reception.
And we got a fright because, again, you were ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
Even at that point, you were ahead of where, and I'd given you a little bit of sort of leeway, but we weren't expecting you to be coming in for a little bit longer.
Oh, that's also because they changed that loop at the top, wasn't it?
They did too. They took a bit out of it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
They did too. They took a bit out because of the danger from the snow. Because you were running through carved out packs of snow.
But I know when I saw you, it was the same thing where I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm done. Like, I think I'm done. And I got upset. I wasn't too bad and right then, but then I sat down and you guys were like doing the same thing. And I think in my head, I thought, oh, maybe I'll sit. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Maybe I'll sit and I'll stand up and like it won't be that 10 out of 10 and I'll be able to walk. And when I stood up, I couldn't stand. Like I actually couldn't stand. And that's when I just burst into tears. I'm like, I can't, I'm done. And you had to take the pack. Oh, it was horrible though. Like you taking the pack off me and my number off me, and you went round and had to put my name on to DNF officially. And it was just horrible. I was so gutted. Like I kept thinking like, you know, I don't know, like, could I try and walk it?
You kept on asking how far to the next station.
Yeah. I was like, well, maybe if I try and walk it. But then I was like, I don't want to walk the whole thing. Like, that's not what I'm here to do. Like, and also the walk really felt like it was gone as an option.
Totally,
like,
it was.
You couldn't
walk.
But seeing people come in and I could see them coming into the aid station and keep going, and they were dropping down a valley and they were getting to do the river crossing to go up the other side. And I was just like, oh my God. And I don't know, there was other people there who were DNFing as well. And that in a weird way felt a little bit better to see that it wasn't just me, like seeing other people in absolute tears, just like having their day just pulled away from them.
Yeah. And there was a guy that we had been looking at who was standing for 10 minutes waiting to connect to a bus, and he didn't seem to have anything wrong with him, but he'd pulled out. He was in your race as well, because there was 2 races. There was another race as well coming through. What was it that you were saying about there was something weird about the bibs that you were convinced of? There was 2 races.
The different categories.
And there was another category, and you were like, "Hang on a second, am I doing that badly?"
No. All of the bibs were the same colour, but because my group that I went out in was called the green group, and the bibs were green, so I thought my group was green, and the yellows I think were the elites at the front.
Yeah,
and I never saw any yellow, so I was like, oh, they must be so far in front. So I thought that like everyone was green, because when I saw some of the elites in hindsight, like flying back down Kosciuszko as I was going back up it, I was like, why have they got a green bib on? That's weird. Like that doesn't make sense.
It was so random. But yeah, there was a guy that was standing there for 10 minutes. There was a lady that when I went to take in your bib to DNF you, that she had bandages. She looked half like a mummy. She had bandages over her hands, right up her forearms, had bandages over one of her eyes, had bandages all over her legs, and she had fallen on the cheese grater. There was another lady that was sitting down in a chair, and she had a doctor looking at her eyes, and she had vision impairment anyway, but that gusty wind had blown sand or dirt up into her eyes, and she was another DNF, and they were coming in thick and fast and dropping like flies. And I think it was a crazy statistic that
I remember looking it up.
But at that point, you were absent. From our perspective, I'm looking at your parents again for them to say, "Oh, she'll keep going," but they were like, "No, she's done now. We can see she's done." And your mum had to carry you. Like,
I couldn't walk. I had to use mum like a crutch. I just physically. That's what I mean. Like I was like, it was like it was taken away. The option was taken. I couldn't physically walk anymore, and we had to wait for the bus to go back down to the car because I couldn't walk to the car, and
it was heartbreaking.
I was texting. I think I texted think I text Simone at that point, or maybe on the bus, and she was like, do you want to talk? I was like, I can't talk because I'll burst into tears. I'll like lose it. I need to just settle down. But yeah, we took the bus back and got the car and drove back home, and I don't know, it was just horrible. Like, I don't know, that makes it, yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible.
It was quiet.
It was quiet and horrible, and
yeah, and we were like trying to give you little positive points, but you were just silent.
Yeah,
you were in your own. You'd gone out of the pain cave, but into another cave in your head.
Yeah,
you were just in your own head so much. But once we got back and spent a little bit of time there, then we were like, well, what do we do now? What do you want to do? And you were like, surprisingly, like, blew, I know your parents away, and most definitely myself. After you'd spoken to a few people on the phone, you're like, I want to go see the runners come in. And I said to you, do you think that's a good idea? Like, how's that going to do with your mental state? You were like, no, I want to congratulate those people at a
mate. That was the elites, though. Yeah. I didn't really want to see the middle of. I didn't want to see the middle of the pack people, or like anywhere where I felt like, well, that's where I would have been. But I felt like seeing the elites was something that I was okay with. Yeah. But
and so we did.
Yeah, we went and saw them. Before we did, I spoke to my coach on the phone for quite a while, and that was really helpful. And it wasn't like you and mum and dad and everything weren't amazing. It was just, obviously, there's someone that's had that absolute first-hand experience in every way.
Remember that if you ever support your partner in sports, you are not number one.
No, it was just, there were certain things, that she said that were like really helpful. So we did, didn't we? I forgot about that. We kind of like packed, we went up and we went to the finish line, and we watched the front, basically like the elites come in and finish. But it was just a really yucky feeling. I just felt gutted because I just had done so much work. But one of the things that my coach said to me, she was like, this is horrible, but you will, once you're back out there and you are running, and more importantly when you're back on that race, like that when you finish it, the redemption will be just so great. She's like, at the moment it feels like you're everything, but I promise you in like 3-6 months when you're back out there and you're in races again, it'll just be so far in your vision mirror. Like, I can promise you get over these things really quickly.
And you've run the race now. You've practically run the race. There's only a small section that you haven't done, so you know
section.
Well, the good thing about let's call it the small section is that it's all downhill. Well, it's predominantly downhill. Yeah. It's an absolute drag race. It's where the fun starts. Yeah. You're really going to kick it into gear. Yeah. And then there is a nasty little pickup again, and then you're into the race that you've run before when you did the 50 last time.
Well, I don't have the fear in the same way anymore. Like, I don't. Yeah, I was terrified of it, and now I'm not. Like, I'm just like, I just want to go back and fucking eat it up.
Yeah, well, it's like going into a boxing match, isn't it? A boxing match with a competitor that you've never met before, compared to going into a boxing match with somebody that you've already fought before. You know their tricks.
That's such a good analogy.
Most of their game and I'm so good at
I'm surprised it wasn't a car one.
I know, I wanted to do a car one. Bathurst. Oh, Bathurst.
So, we came back. I think we watched, was the 50K? No, the 50K was a day before. So,
we watched the
50s as well.
Come in, and then we watched.
Oh, we watched the milers
and
finish.
Then we tried to watch the milers, but that was quite a bit later. Yeah, did we go away and come back? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, I think we might have gone away and come back because it was getting really late at night. Or did we stay there? I don't think we stayed there that long. What I hated, what I really didn't like, and I don't know if I told you this, but it broke my heart at a point, I had a tear in my eye, is when you crossed, I did mention it, that's right, when you cross the finish line that you got like the towel, the finishing towel, the Kosciuszko run, and like this big, massive beach towel with Kosciuszko, 100 written on it, and I wanted to go and steal you.
I didn't earn it.
Yeah, I know, but you said no because I didn't earn it.
No, I need to earn it.
Typical, I'd get busted for stealing something and they run it to you and you didn't want it. Throw it back at me.
So then we packed up and we came home, and yeah, I don't think without you were telling me like you need to get this checked out. And I think the physio had sort of erred towards it. But again, Simone was very much like, you have to get this checked. I felt like it was like someone telling you, if you don't do this, I won't coach you anymore. So I came back, I made appointments with the sports doctor to get scans and so forth. And long story short, it turned out I had what's called like a bone stress on my femur, but a very high grade, to the point they use the word fracture in the description when you go in and read it, even though the sports doctor told me there wasn't an actual fracture line. But then it's quite confusing because when I sent it to my coach, she was like, there actually is a fracture. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. It's just like
it does matter.
Well, it does. Like it's bone injury essentially.
Yeah. If
so
anybody asked me, I was telling everybody she had a spiral fracture, and basically she was running and her leg fell off.
So whether I even said to the sports doctor, like, did I make this worse by running? And he was actually very like doing the race, and he was like, probably not. Like it was already there. But then who knows? I'm sure I made it worse in some ways, but what was interesting is that within about 5 days, I felt like it went very quickly back to how it felt before the race. So I feel like I obviously made it so bad and it was so inflamed. But then, yeah, when I went 5-6 days later, I was like, oh, this feels like it's back to there. But then I was like, this isn't right, because every time I tried to do anything, it would just go. It was like an angry hornet's nest.
Yeah.
So yeah, the bone injury, and really, I guess to come back to the why, it's a really common injury in endurance and ultra running. So it's nothing like out of the ordinary, but it's often due to like bones always remodeling with this type of sport, or anything with like endurance or bone impact. But basically the bone's remodeling and you're not allowing it to repair quick enough. So that kind of space between repair and remodeling gets skewed. And that can be due to just overtraining and the stresses on training. So I think a combination again of the lead up I had, unfortunately, with stress and how that impacted my sleep, I think unfortunately was an impact. I think the fact some of those runs that you mentioned, which were off the back of running so many like on the flats because of the initial injury, and maybe some compensation of pushing that other side more. And then the other thing nutritionally, which is really like honestly embarrassing for me to admit, is that I think in that last, like in October, when I had so much going on and all that travel, I dropped the ball with my nutrition. And again, I'll never know 100%, but I think because of the travel and things that were going on, I wasn't hitting how much I needed on a daily basis, and not all the time, but I believe enough to have caused another stressor. So the calorie demands with something like this are so high, and calories were up. I mean, you saw how much I was eating, but I look at it now in reflection and I'm like, I don't think I was hitting enough with retrospect in that last sort of like maybe even the last 2-3 weeks. I think even there, when all of those big ones were happening,
she was feeding her Bathurst race car unleaded fuel instead of race fuel.
Yes. And I don't know, but this is the thing, when something like this happens, you look at it all and you're like, well, how do I make sure this doesn't happen again? Like, that's my biggest fear now. Like, I want to get back out there, but I don't want it to happen again. So I have to look at all things. And, even as a nutritionist who's like so passionate about this space, like, I'm going to be human. I'm going to make mistakes. And this is how these things creep up, like with things like being busy and like being, like having days that are just too busy that like suddenly you've missed your snack that you would have usually had between lunch and dinner, or you haven't, dinner's been late for us. Like there was a lot of that, wasn't there? And then like I wasn't really getting like that post dinner like kind of meal that I was trying to do more of.
You weren't sleeping properly. You were working a lot, like more than ever. Yeah, you were exercising so much more. Plus, there was also that niggling fear and that anxiety of this knee injury that was starting to move its way round. So there was that there. I reckon that anxiety was probably also not allowing you to or your mind to be completely clear on your dietary intake.
Yeah. And I kept saying to you, didn't I? I was like, I need to track because I was tracking intermittently to make sure I was on track. But then that last sort of month prior before taper, I remember saying to you, I need to track just to make sure. And I'd kept like starting to track and I'd get like half the day and then not finish it off.
Which is not like you. Believe me, guys.
No.
That is not like Jess. Jess tracks everything.
Well, I don't track my food all the time. Like I don't, in the track food app track, I don't.
You kind of do.
No, I don't. I can show you.
I always see your head inside that app looking at things. Or are you just looking at
other
Instagram?
People's stuff.
Oh. Well, you might be just flicking through social media.
So, essentially now I'm at a point where I'm training again, but I'm not running. I'm swimming and biking and swimming and biking and swimming and biking.
And not just swimming.
What?
Swimming with your little pad in between your legs so you can't even use your legs. She's like a goldfish without a tail. She's flopping. Don't think she's swimming. She's flopping in the pool.
I'm getting really good at swimming. I keep getting PRs. It's awesome. No, it's been good. Like my coach has been great for helping me with the plan, physio, like having that team. So unfortunately, will be Trail Fest coming up, which I just am gutted that I can't be part of as far as competing, but I can still be here. And there's some other ones that like Buffalo. Yeah, there's things that I can't, but I've got my vision set on later this year and other things, but I'm not going to put anything out there yet until I know where I'm at, probably in a month from now. But I feel like everything's on track. Like I feel like I'm going really well with recovery. I have little niggles here and there, which I'm always like to you, Anna. I'm like, oh, I don't know what's going on. But I feel 10 times better than I did like even 6 weeks ago. So it's definitely improving. And all I want to do is get back there and just complete that 100. I want to do it so bad. And it's just whether it's this year, which I'd love it to be, or whether it's next. And that's just going to be all due to how I go and what the professionals in my life that I trust have to say, and not just be driven by my ego.
And it could be the 50 that you end up doing this year to smoke your old record, and then you can build into it. And there's another thing too, is that I think it's a good point to bring up too, is that there were points during this where you were in that cave and you were kind of looking out and just struggling to see any good that came out of this race. And the people around you, your mum, your dad, and I were like, oh well, there is positives, there's this and this and this, but there were so many real life experiences to get out of that, weren't there? There was obviously running the part of the track that you hadn't run. There was running up Kosciuszko. There was things that you learned about yourself that will help you for next time. There's surrounding yourself with those people, and sometimes we were too slow to do that. Like potentially getting onto a physio earlier. We should have had a physio.
I should have done that way earlier.
Yeah, realising how important that toolbox is that you have with you, and making sure you fill it with the right tools, having your great sports coach, having the physio on board, and even that sports doctor ultimately, like going and having the confidence to go, you know what, let's not listen to A, B and C, let's go straight to the top and get a scan done. And there were so many real positives that came out of this.
If I had have like right at the start stuck to my guns and gone and seen a physio and had guidance earlier on before things started to go wonky, like where would that have led to? I mean, you never know, but you're right. They're all the lessons from it. And I do feel like the other thing I got out of it is I was talking about how I'm not afraid of it anymore, but this might sound a bit sadistic, but because I feel like I've experienced something that was so painful and so hard and so gut-wrenching, and just how I felt out there and the ability to push through. I just feel like now when I'm there and I'm in the 100 and I'm at like 70 or 80 Ks and I'm going to be in like a different level of like pain as far as fatigue and so forth. And that's what I was scared of previously. Now I'm like, I'm not scared of it anymore, because I'm like, well, if I've done that, like I can do that. And I think I'm going to pull on that. Like I know when I'm in those moments of where I'm just like, oh my God, I can't keep going. Like I'll be like, you did what you did last year. Like this is nothing. You're not injured. Like you're okay. So just keep moving.
So yeah, again, most people are like they run so hard that they break their hip. They're like, I'm never doing that again. And you're like, oh, the positives are I know how far I can push my pain.
I didn't break my hip.
What? Well, you did kind of break your hip.
Yeah, it's my femur.
Oh, same thing. Femur's connected to the hip bone. It's connected. But that's good.
I think that's everything. Was there anything we've missed?
I don't think so. I think I think we've summed it up. Oh, yeah, how amazing your crew was. I think we need to take time to note how amazing your crew was.
Crew was amazing.
Yeah, and we learned, oh my gosh, did we learn. We made some mistakes. I think we sent you out without a water bottle at a point.
Did you?
Or maybe even two. There was something that we missed sending you out with at a point, and I was like, oh, well, she's going to just have to go without it.
Oh, you put... No, was that race? Did I have soda water?
Or maybe it was... Anyway.
There was a flask. Maybe that was a different race where you gave me soda water. Oh, that wasn't Macedon.
I know what it was. No, it wasn't. We walked 1.5 kilometres because we had to park so far away to go down to the Charlotte Pass thing, and then we got down there and I'd realised that I'd left your electrolytes back in the car because your dad had put them in a different esky.
Yeah.
So and then when we were grabbing gels, we were grabbing them randomly, whereas on the 50K the year before, everything was in separate bags labelled for each different aid station.
Yeah.
Definitely not doing that again. And for anybody else that's doing trail running, if you're doing a serious run like that, get one of those little carts from Bunnings with the handle on it and the 4 wheels and load everything into those if you've got to walk a certain distance to get there. Oh, man. I was so envious of the people that had those.
Yeah.
Chuck everything in there. 1 bag for medical, 1 bag for liquid, 1 bag for your food.
Yeah.
For your
that's so true. Because the nutrition in the 50, we just had it all in bags, and this time around I was just a mess and I didn't do that. I'm like, I'll just grab what I need. Yeah. I think I still did good with my nutrition to a point out there, like as far as getting in what I wanted to get. Yeah. It's definitely got a bit blurry towards the end, because I think I again knew I was done, but I was really good with getting like the regular gels down and getting everything in. I know when I came in and DNF'd, I was like, I'd finished pretty much everything. But yeah, you guys crew wise were amazing.
We were pretty good. We were disappointed too, because in a way we didn't get to see the other parts of the race that that we'd been to before, and we wanted to have a look through and create some new stories. Yeah,
well, that was what was hard. Like, and I know it's not a valid feeling. No, it is a valid feeling, but it doesn't make sense logically. Is that I felt like I let you down and I let mum and dad down, and I know it's silly, but that's sort of like the things that you think when it happens, because it's like this massive build up, and then I like ultimately the person I've let down the most felt like myself, and just all these silly things. I'm like, I'm wanting to like be at a point where like I can call, like, because Kirst is sending me messages from the kids and stuff, and like I want them to be proud of Auntie Jess, and it's like, oh no, she's DNF'd. Although then Zachy, little fucking Yoda, sends a beautiful message to me after DNFing. It's okay, Auntie Jess, it's fine. It's actually really hard and not many people can do it. It's all good.
And I think that's part of being a sports person of any level, isn't it? Is you put such high expectations on yourself for first and foremost to finish.
Yeah.
and if you don't, then you start kind of laying blame on yourself, and then you're kind of like, and who you've let down. But you didn't let anybody down. Like I said, it was a good practice to go back and smoke that mountain again in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the take home. It was a bloody good trip. It was still great. Awesomely good trip. It was awesome. Amazing seeing those runners come in. Huge congrats to those guys.
Yeah, they were mind blowing, so inspirational, aren't they?
Yeah. It's never not fun watching people come in.
Yeah.
It's just an absolute electric buzz.
Yeah.
And the camaraderie in trail running is second to none.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Everybody's in there.
Well, I think that's it. So thank you if you've stuck with us through this.
It was long.
Is it? No, it's an hour. That's pretty much normal.
Oh, man. You can talk.
No. Good coming from you.
It was amazing. I'm looking forward to 2026, if not 2027.
Oh, we might be away.
No, we'll be back by November.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see. Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, guys. If you've enjoyed this episode, obviously, again, it's a different one. I'd love to hear from you. You can pop me a DM anytime. Usually I'd say just share the episode, but this is a bit of a weird one to share. So yeah, if you enjoyed it or you've got any questions, just hit me up. But otherwise, I will catch you next time with the regular episodes.
Didn't we say we were going to do my podcast next with my
with the
elite sports person stories? It would last all of 0 seconds.
Let me know. Let me know.
Yeah, well,
if you'd like to hear more from Hubbard.
Lala Falls run.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No, please don't. Please don't.
All right. Thank you so much, babe.
Bye.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Ciao.